Good morning and welcome. So nice to have you here, Fasting Space. I hope you are well today. I hope you are more well than I am. I have really been run through the ringer the last few days of a little bit of illness, not very nice. And I took a sick day on our session yesterday, which I really hate to do. But I didn't know if I could really do it. I've been, so I'm going to stay in bed a little bit. Which, who knows, should I do it, should I be doing it right now? I'm feeling all right enough to get up here, so we'll do it. But here was my experience yesterday as I was feeling badly. I was like, oh, I can't even go on, and I was like, couldn't I really do it? I was really struggling with that. I was like, well, if my life depended on it, I probably could get up and do it, but isn't this not a very kind or compassionate way to treat yourself, and shouldn't you get some rest? Isn't that the healthy thing to do, both physically and mentally? I was like, yeah, I think it is. So, but it's because I was feeling so bad. Didn't you know how this is? It just shapes your thinking. And I was having so much negative thinking yesterday. Just the negative thoughts pouring in across everything. I said, you know what? We got to do some things to counteract this. I had to power through. I had telemedicine visits. Didn't cancel those. I kept going. People who I am getting, gotta keep the customers satisfied. But that was an effort. So I started pushing back against it by picking up this book, Radical Acceptance, which a friend suggested a while ago. And this is a book I haven't read. It'll be one of these ones. Will it turn into another one where we can really walk through it and find that it is helping our situation? I hope so. Let me know what you think. So I'm going to read you just a couple excerpts from the prologue that is setting up the situation. Setting up the situation. The first part is just a tiny snippet of a story from the author's life where we can see if we resonate with their experience. And then just a couple observations they have about acceptance, which is something that I think is very important on our health and life journey. Accepting ourselves and our situation. This is what I was trying to do yesterday. Bring acceptance to it. Stop all the negative thought. Be like, you are sick. You are not feeling well. And there's maybe the easiest time to see, oh, I get it. I have a headache. Amongst many other things. Is this a practice that we can build not just for the time where we're obviously ill, okay, but all the time, hopefully. The prologue is titled, Something is Wrong with Me. This is Tara Brach. Radical Acceptance. Awakening the love that heals fear and shame within us. Isn't that beautiful? I hope so. They say, when I was in college, I went off to the mountains for a weekend hiking with an older, wiser friend of 22. After we set up our tent, we sat by a stream and watched the water swirl around the rocks. We were talking about our lives. At one point, she described how she was learning to be her own best friend. A huge wave of sadness came over me. I broke down sobbing. I was the furthest thing from my own best friend. I was continually harassed by an inner judge who was merciless, relentless, nitpicking, driving. Often invisible, but always on the job. I knew I would never treat a friend the way I treated myself, without mercy or kindness. We've had some talks that have sounded like that, right? This boss that is often the most ruthless with ourselves. A lot of the books I've picked have picked up on this, but isn't this like a big thing that we experience? I was certainly experiencing it yesterday. My guiding assumption was, something is fundamentally wrong with me. Have you ever felt this way? Do you feel this way now about something? This is how I was feeling yesterday. That really is a thought that was coming in. Something is just wrong with you. Now, like if you're sick, I was like, something really is wrong, you know? I was like, I gotta go to bed. I can't even think. But then we can take that same sort of idea, that same mindset, and bring it into our everyday. They go on, I struggled to control and fix what felt like a basically flawed self. I drove myself in academics, was a political activist. I devoted myself to a social life. I avoided pain but created more with an addiction to food and a preoccupation with achievement. My pursuit of pleasure was sometimes wholesome in nature with friends, but it also included impulsive thrill-seeking. In the eyes of the world, I was highly functional. Internally, I was anxious, driven, and depressed. I didn't feel at peace with any part of my life. I was resonating with this yesterday. I'm like, man, I don't feel at peace with my life now in this day. I have been feeling that way. At least some days, I personally kind of phase in and out of it. Some days I've been phasing in. I'll be like, really feeling that, and then some days not. How are you doing with it? How do you resonate with that last line? Author didn't feel at peace with any part of your life. Are you finding a place, a grounding place in life where you do experience that? If not, hey, it's okay. Bringing awareness to it. Bringing awareness. Hopefully, I say stick around, we go through these processes. This is what it is about. This is what I'm trying to do. Trying to find a grounded, centered place where we can move forward in health and wholeness. We'll all do it together. Feeling not okay went hand in hand with deep loneliness. In my early teens, I sometimes imagined that I was living inside of some sort of transparent orb that separated me from the people and life around me. When I felt good about myself and at ease with others, the bubble thinned until it was like an invisible wisp. But when I felt bad about myself, the walls got thick and it seemed that others must be able to see them. I felt hollow, aching, alone. That fantasy faded as I got older, but I lived with the fear of letting others down or being rejected. Sometimes I thought this was an interesting visual they're giving us. This is like a bad bubble. I've talked about, okay, it's like, can we get some good things going from a bubble, protected space? But not isolating like this. They conclude this little section. With my college friend, it was different. I trusted her enough to be completely open. Over the next 2 days of hiking on high mountain ridges, sometimes talking with her, sometimes sitting in silence, I began to realize that beneath all my mood swings, desperation, loneliness, addictive behaviors, lurked the feeling of deep personal deficiency. I was getting a first clear glimpse into a core of suffering that I would revisit again in my life. While I felt exposed and raw, I knew intuitively that by facing that pain, I was entering a path of healing. Is that the type of thing that is getting down to a very root level of something that we are dealing with? A deep, innate feeling of deficiency, that we are not enough. I'll show you a couple sections just at the end of the prologue where they talk about radical acceptance. Radical acceptance reverses our habit of living at war with experiences that are unfamiliar, frightening, or intense. It is a necessary antidote to years of neglecting ourselves, years of judging and treating ourselves harshly, years of rejecting this moment's experience. Radical acceptance is the willingness to experience ourselves and our life as it is. A moment of radical acceptance is a moment of genuine freedom. That paragraph felt a bit like a medicine to me yesterday. I've been sitting here, all these negative thoughts, all these discouraging things. Specifically this line, the willingness to experience ourselves and our life as it is. And I sat there and I was feeling very badly. And I felt, well, this is how it is. I will accept it in this moment. Just know that it is okay. Take the pressure off. Do you need to do that somewhere in your life now? Take the pressure off. Bring acceptance into it as your life is right now. When we practice radical acceptance, we begin with the fears and the wounds of our own life and discover that our heart and compassion widens endlessly. In holding ourselves with compassion, we become free to love this living world. This is the blessing as we free ourselves from the suffering of something is wrong with me, how it started. We start to trust and express who we are. So that felt beautiful to me yesterday. It felt nice to read through now. I hope that that is an appreciated thought. I hope it can bring a good mindset to your day. Can you find a type of acceptance just from that brief introduction? And then I like the idea of that. To me, that is carrying on. We picked up themes like that from Thinking Fast and Slow. We definitely dove into thoughts like that from The Mountain Is You. And I feel like we pick up thoughts like that many places. But I think yesterday I was feeling like, oh, how many books have I read that have said something like this? But it was just feeling good to hear it again and hear it from someone else and hear that woman's story. It's like, oh, here is someone, on a journey. And it's like, has this been your experience? Like, we're going through life, but it isn't some sort of straight line. It's not like, oh, we learned something and then we're just, here and then we carry on in a thing. It's like going through waves of learning, I feel like. This is the pattern that is often the case in a weight loss space. You know, weight loss rarely a linear process. Weight loss in its best instances usually are like waves that are flowing up and down, but we want the trend to be heading in the right direction over time. And perhaps many processes are like that in our personal development, our personal path. We learn a lesson, maybe we forget it for a bit. We come back and we hear it from a fresh perspective. Is this how things really get deeper into us and a part of us? Presumably. Some of those discouraging thoughts, I have so many talks I want to give. I've been talking about that for a bit, and I hate talking about talks and not giving them. So I was feeling really frustrated. I had my consults yesterday, but then I had, this other time on a regular day, I would have gotten the consults done, and I would have powered out the talk. I was reading the paper, very interesting paper on fasting and how much we eat after fasting. How are we coming out of a fasting space? I think an under appreciated space. I was like, I don't even know if I could have done it. I tried to do it. I sat down at the computer. I was looking at it. And that's where a lot of the bad thoughts came in. Like, can't you just power out a talk, Couldn't seem to. Went and fell asleep. I fell asleep. So my own personal experience, it's like, with a headache, the mental horsepower, however you describe it, turned way down. But perhaps that is okay. I invite anyone, is your space. Hey, I host a space for you. Do you have thoughts? Do you have a question or a good word or something on your mind that you would like to share and bring to our space? I welcome it. Also, it is feeling fine to me just to sit in some openness. This is fasting space. I just grabbed some water today. Water, just the foundation of the body. Foundation of health, in my view. So essential. And sometimes our fasting fuel, you can jazz water up with all kinds of stuff, can be really enjoyable, but to me today, it doesn't get any better than this. This is fasting space. Water coming in, no energy coming in, everything in the body happening anyway. Find some peace and contentment in that space. If you're here now with me live, if you're coming through on the replay, Let's take a moment together and let's share just a space here of thoughtful reflection in the stillness and the quiet. It's a space you can practice some of that box breathing we've gone through. Maybe start just with some dedicated widening the breath in and out. A little longer, bigger, deeper breath. And out. And then try to hold it in. To me, it takes a few rounds. And then breathe out and hold it out. Use that openness to let go of some things. We're trying to have some radical acceptance here. Maybe we let go of the places where we have been hard on ourselves, even over the past few days. Breathe in some peace, some love, and acceptance for those spaces. See, as we're doing that in our emotional self, say, look at the mirror we're trying to bridge into the physical body. Fasting space is happening. We're bringing in some water. It's like we're releasing energy. So, process is happening in the physical body, fasting space. Process is happening in our emotional body. We're practicing acceptance. Making it through the week. Hello, good morning. So nice to have you here. Making it through the week. Surviving. Here, I'm going to take a few of these breaths. This just feels real good to me. I gotta tell you, it feels real good. Partially because I have a headache, so it's like it feels good. You know, I got the lights on. It's like not the ideal environment. Close the eyes, let the breath flow a bit. This is the process, right? And you start to feel, keeping the tension in the shoulders. How are you doing with that? All the little spaces where you can store the stress and the pressure. These are the places where we aren't really accepting ourselves, aren't really accepting life as it is, where we're holding on to it and being burdened by it. We'll see what we learn from this book. I will be carrying on with it. I think from the chapters on acceptance in The Mountain Is You, say accepting things, even the most difficult things, is often the path to flowing through them the most gracefully. Life just so difficult so many times, so many things that are so unjust and unfair. At least from our limited point of view, something that seems like such an injustice is happening, something that seems completely like, why is life the way it is? It's very hard not to feel angry about things like that. Acceptance, as I'm thinking about it now, certainly doesn't mean feeling okay with things. We'll have to see if such a teacher agrees. Hey, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Definitely the message that I needed. Acceptance, yeah, doesn't mean we feel okay with it. Something is, oh, I'm just accepting it like everything is okay. Like, this is just, we have to realize that it's good or something. No, 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 no. Accepting the tragedy of things that happen. Just the reality of it, everything reality. To me, acceptance is just completely focused on the reality of the situation. And the reality might still be quite bad. But accepting it is not fighting it. It's not adding our own anger on top of it. Especially this session that we read through, you know, it is so personal, is about an internal experience that people are having. Here, the analogy I'm bringing is talking about an external experience. You know, we're accepting external. This book telling us bring everything we've had so far, we'll see where they go. Bringing into our internal experience, accepting ourselves first. That was definitely my battle yesterday. Probably most days, really. It's like, are we really good with ourselves here? Like I was saying, some days phase in and out of it. Some days feeling okay, and then some days not. So this is the daily practice. I gotta do some more thinking on daily practice. Increasingly think there is such a benefit. I think one of the things I've discussed on the channel, my feeling about a routine on fasting, is that routines make things much easier to stick with. Has this been your experience? When it could be anything on any given day, then it's like it all can end up being nothing, because it's like, well, tomorrow could be this, and tomorrow could be that. And when we have a routine that we are in, it's like making the decisions ahead of time. It's eliminating a lot of barriers, mental and emotional barriers. And so fasting physiology, I want to be flexible. I want it to be intuitive. I want it to be able to mold to our life, and it doesn't have to be the same every day. So I really want to bring that flexibility into it. But at the same time, recognize there's just tremendous benefit, tremendous on so many levels from getting in a routine that is effective. It's like I try to tell people, we're trying to find one day that really works, you know, for your life. And it's like across domains where it's like, hey, we ate food that was tasty and satisfying in portions that brought calories into our body and nutrients in a sufficient way and in a window that allowed fasting space. And, you know, there's a lot of things to balance. So we find something like that. That's like a template. There might not be many combinations like that. I don't know. It's like, where is the balance point? And so if we find such a beautiful day where we balance all these different things, it's like, is there one, right? To just have a template like that. We don't have to recreate the wheel too many times, you know? Let's start sinking into that pattern. That's how you can really start flowing through something. Maybe we haven't quite found the pattern yet. Okay, that's the practice. That's the work. Like, let's try to develop even one of these things so we're flowing right through it. It's like that is fasting as a daily practice. That is... what element can bring it in? Not fasting for many days in a row as a daily practice. It is making something so intense and then it's on and off and then we're in and out of it. It can be a place for that. There really can. But what I've found to be simple fasting, the process that brings such an amount of simplicity. What is the thing that we can just try to make a template day that says, like, my boring every day where I'm not going to a party and a holiday and a special thing? Like, what's like my go-to that is really helping keep me on track? So that's what I mean as a daily practice. And so I'm seeing that mindset coming in. I think, do you have a mental process that is more like that too? You know, I feel like I've really spent a lot of time dialing in on the physical process of a daily practice, fasting based thing. Like, oh, find the exact foods, you know, that work, and find the times, you know. But how about the mindset? How about the practices like we did here? Just take even a few moments. Did I take even 4 breaths? Felt so good. Close the eyes. Slow down the breathing enough where we can start to bring some pause and some space to it. I know in my, a certain part of my mind anyway, an analytical mind, I know the power of breathing, you know, I know it, and I tell it to people, and I've experienced it, but I still don't have a daily routine of it. I haven't made it, you know, for whatever reason, a priority. But I'm not quite sure why. I think literally every time I do it, I feel better. Have you ever taken a time where you felt anxious and like, so do some breathing? It's like, it never makes things worse, right? It always helps. Literally, in any moment in life, a single breath is just literally, it can be the next thing. Like, we can be in this cycle. This is my default. Shallow breaths, in, out, feeds that physical anxiety feeling. Deep breath. Is this the type of state that helps us flow into the other decisions of health that we need to make? I was having this this cynical thought, you know, is coming into my mind right now. It's like someone is saying that doctors eat isn't the thing that just matters. It's like you just got to eat the right calories and the right things, like this sort of thing. What kind of weight loss show are you running? It's like, well, from my perspective, you say, I mean, people heard, it's not a secret, okay, eat fewer calories. Probably people heard this before. Yes, that's part of it. And then, but fasting space, put those fewer calories into a fasting space that the body can really utilize in a very physiologic space. So I feel like we do plenty of covering of that. And then, but what is the mindset that helps us to get there, you know, to actually do it and to accept it? Can't we all use help with things like this, whatever path we are walking on? A reviewer of this book says offers gentle wisdom and tender healing. Doesn't that sound nice? It does. I could use a little of that. Insightful, warm-hearted, and important. Clear, practical, and caring. Maybe it is my sickly state at this moment, but it's sounding good. We'll see where it goes. I'm curious. Good friend recommended it. The very first quote on the first chapter from Wendell Berry. I should find Wendell Berry. I've never read anything from Wendell Berry, but I see his quotes around that I have sure liked. He has that quote, preservation is progress, which I love that. And then he also said, what is his other quote? When going backwards makes sense, then you are actually moving forwards. I love that. Really do love that. Sometimes we need to do that in life, don't we? Go backwards for a little bit. It's like a reset. And isn't that how we move forward? So going backwards is moving forwards. It can be in a certain context, for sure. It's better than banging our head into a wall, just stuck in forward. I remember in college, I worked at a summer camp one summer. And one of the guys on staff, I have no idea how it works, but he had a stick shift car, but it couldn't go in reverse. Like somehow the transmission or whatever was broken, and it could not go into reverse. So he could only drive it forward. So everywhere he had to go had to have either some kind of loop, or we would end up trying to push this car. It was a small enough car you could push it around, which we ended up doing a couple times, but that was funny. A car that could never go in reverse, not so functional as you want. Aren't we like that, you know? That being able to throw things into reverse every once in a while, really helpful to help us move forward. I'm taking the pressure off myself. I have a headache today still. I'm going to do my best. I can't. I spend so much time in bed. I can't. It just sounds repulsive to me to go back to bed. I don't want to do it. But I don't know that I can write a talk either. This is kind of the space where I'm in. So I was like, do I need a reverse? Like, what do I need? I'm like kind of stuck in between these spaces here. Maybe I'll just read more of this. I feel like I can read something like this. So we'll see where we're out. But I had an idea at the beginning of this week that I was going to get 2 talks out by the end of it. But it's not looking like it's in the cards. But I'm just gonna accept it and be okay. So whatever you are dealing with in your life today, I encourage you, bring some acceptance to it. Things are the way they are. And maybe need a little reverse for a little bit, maybe need some acceptance, maybe bring some kindness and compassion to yourself first, help you to flow through whatever you have to navigate in this day in the most graceful way possible. These sort of mindsets, of course, say there can be alternative ways of dealing with things, and then this can lead to cycles that maybe we've been in the past. I'm going to try to stay away from that today. Look toward the light. Look away from the cynicism. And appreciate you sharing this space with me. I will look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. Be well, everybody.